The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus said to the disciples, "Make friends for yourselves by means of unrighteous mammon, so that when it fails, they will receive you into the eternal habitations. He who is faithful in a very little is faithful also in much, and he who is dishonest in a very little is dishonest also in much. If then you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will entrust to you the true riches? And if you have not been faithful in that which is another's, who will give you that which is your own? No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon." The Pharisees, who were lovers of money, heard all this, and they scoffed at him. But he said to them, "You are those who justify yourselves before men, but God knows your hearts. For what is exalted among men is an abomination in the sight of God." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Dear sisters, today's Gospel has a number of sayings about money. It speaks about making use of money to gain friends. And then it also says, be responsible in the use of your money, material resources. And then another thing it says, but be cautious that you do not become slave of money. You can't serve God and mammon at the same time, today's Gospel passage says. God has given us so many gifts. God first, others second, then only come material things, resources, gifts. The law of poverty tells us, especially the religious are called to be poor in fact and in spirit, and then they should be stranger to earthly riches. They should be hardworking, dependent on the superiors, on the use of the material goods. Let us today realize the importance of it, because we are all the time supposed to be manifesting our constant and continuous dependence on God. That takes me to the first reading, a very beautiful passage. Paul is appreciating the generosity of the Philippians towards him. It's a very, very beautiful passage according to me. Paul says, more than all other churches, communities, you helped me. See what all things he says. It was kind of you to share my trouble. They did not want to cling to their resources. Maybe as individual sisters you do not have much money, but then you have your time, energy, your gifts, your talents. How generous you are to share your gifts with others. It was very kind of you to share my trouble. One of our sisters is sick, or one of our sisters is in charge of a particular duty, or she is burdened with too many tasks. St. Paul says, it was very kind of you to share my trouble. And you Philippians yourselves know that in the beginning of the gospel, when I left Macedonia, no church entered into partnership with me in giving and receiving except you only. People have to say about us, no other sister helped me, but you helped me. I was misunderstood, but you were there by my side, consoling me, encouraging me. What a blessing it will be if people use such words to acknowledge our contribution. See, no other church helped me, but you came to me. And then he says, even in Thessalonica, you sent me help once and again. I was in Thessalonica. I was in need of some money, but you sent me help, St. Paul says. Not that I seek the gift, but I seek the fruit which increases to your credit. I have received a full payment and more. I am filled, having received from Epaphroditus the gifts you sent. Now they are sending also gifts for Paul from Philippi to Rome. You see, Paul is in prison in Rome. Poor man, what he is doing in prison, how he is managing. They are sending this man Epaphroditus with some gifts. Go and give to Paul. Take care of him. And then come. Give news about him. See, generous attitude all the time. Somebody thinks of us. I am also grateful to you, our SAB sisters. You have been always very kind and generous. Not for flattery I am saying. All the little things you have done, all these days, I always cherish with love and gratitude. Not only to me, to one another, to others, thinking about others. The thoughtfulness of the Philippian community is really wonderful, you see. You helped me in Macedonia, you helped me when I was in Thessalonica. All the time you gave me whatever I needed. Now that I am far away in prison in Rome, you sent Epaphroditus to help me. And Paul is full of gratitude for those people. Full of gratitude for the people. Not merely material help, words of encouragement. Words of encouragement. The Eucharistic sacrifice is to make us altruistic, to get rid of our ego and egoism. That is the purpose of the Eucharistic sacrifice. Left ourselves, we tend to be, why unnecessary problem? I am okay, I keep myself warm, I have my things, my food. Left ourselves, today's people are too individualistic and egoistic. In Tamil I used to say always, நாக்க நீட்டி நன்மை வாங்கினா போதாது, கையை நீட்டி நன்மை செய்யணும். That's why Eucharist. It's not enough to stretch your tongue or stretch your hand to receive Holy Communion. You have to stretch your hand to do good. To do good. That is the purpose. We should become do-gooders for each and everyone. How beautifully St. Paul says. How beautifully the Lord says about the use of our resources. Material resources, intellectual resources, spiritual resources. Everything at the service of the Lord. He appreciates them for their generosity. On his part, he is grateful to them and acknowledges their contribution and gifts to him. At the same time, Paul says, I know how to live. I can be in want. I can be in abundance. One thing I am always certain. Beautiful verse. I can do everything with the help of Jesus Christ the Lord who strengthens me. That should be our motto. Be grateful. Be faithful, be generous, but always trust in the Lord, with whose strength we can do everything. Amen.